Welcome to this lab. In this lab, we are going to build multi-agent system with ADK. This will be the diagram of the multi-agent system. You will have a root agent followed by sub-agent, and then you also have multiple sub-agent to do the task. So in the agent development kit, you organize your agent in a tree-like structure. This helps limit the option for transfer for each agent in the tree, making it easier to control and predict the possible route the conversation can take through the tree. The benefits of the hierarchy structure include it draws inspiration from real-world collaborative teams, making it easier to design and reason about the behavior of the multi-agent system. Secondly, it is intuitive for developer as it mirrors common software development patterns. Third, it provides greater control over the flow of information and task delegation within the system, making it easier to understand possible pathway and debug the system. For example, if a system has two report generation agents at different part of its flow with similar description, the tree structure make it easier to ensure that the correct one is involved. So in the task one, we are going to install the ADK and set up the environment. So in this lab, we already enabled Vertex AI API. So now we just have to open the Crowd Shell Editor tab. Okay, so we are in Crowd Shell now. So I want to open the Crowd Shell Editor using the command just now, Crowd Shell Workspace. Now I can start download and install the ADK and also the code sample. So this is how you install the ADK. Next, we are going to download the bucket files and then unzip it. Okay, so the next one is install the additional lab requirement file. Okay, task 2, we are going to explore the transfer between parent, sub-agent, and the peer agent. The conversation always begins with the agent defined as the root agent variable. The default behavior of a parent agent is to understand the description of each sub-agent and determine if control the conversation should be transferred to the sub-agent at any point. You can help guide those transfer in the parent instruction by referring to the sub-agent by the name, the values of their name parameter, not their variable name. Okay, so I'm going to clear this and paste this command. So we will create an env file to authenticate the agent in the parent and sub-agent directory. And then we will copy this env file to the workflow agent directory. Next, we're going to the Cloud Shell Editor, ADK multi-agent system, and then the parent and sub-agent directory, and look at the agent py file to open it. Because Python code requires that we define our sub-agent before we can add them to the agent, in order to read an agent py file in the order of the conversation flow, you may want to start reading with the bottom agent and work back towards the top. So the bottom part is the root agent. So a root agent name is steering. Its name is used to identify it in the ADK dev UI and command line interface. It asks the user a question if they know where they would like to travel or if they need some help deciding. Then the user response to the question will help this steering agent know which of its sub-agent to steer the conversation towards. Notice it only has simple instruction that does not mention the sub-agent, but it is aware of the sub-agent description. So there is another agent called Travel Brainstormer, and also we have an attraction planner. Okay, so the Travel Brainstormer help the user brainstorm destination if they don't know where they want to visit, and the attraction planner help the user build a list of things to do once they know which country they would like to visit. So we want to make the Travel Brainstormer and attraction planner sub-agent of the root agent. So you can go to the root agents here and add this line. That's it. Save it. Okay, so note that you don't add the corresponding parent parameter to the sub-agent. The hierarchy tree is defined only by the specified sub-agent when creating parent agent. In the CoWShell terminal, run the following to use the ADK command line interface. Okay, so these are the one. Okay, so I can see the prompt is out. Sorry for the typo. I just say hello. Then I will tell the agent I could use some help deciding. So you notice from the name, the travel brainstormer, in the bracket, in the response that the root agent has transferred the conversation to the appropriate sub-agent based on that sub-agent transcription alone. At the user prompt, now if it's finished, then we can exit the prompt. So you can also provide your agent more detailed instruction about when to transfer a sub-agent as part of the instruction. So back to the agent py file, we're going to add the following line to the root agent. So this is the new line that I added. Okay, save it. And then run again the ADK command. Okay, I say hello. And this time I tell them I know where I want to go to. I would like to go to Japan. Then this time the root agent will transfer to attraction planner agent. Say if I reply right here, actually I don't know which country to visit, see what will happen. So it will transfer me to the travel brainstormer agent, which is a peer agent to the attraction planner. This is allowed by default. If you wanted to prevent transfer to the peers, you could have set the disallowed transfer to peer parameter to true on the attraction planner agent. So now after finish testing, just click type in exit. In the task tree, we're going to use session state to store and retrieve specific information. Each conversation in ADK is contained within a session that all the agents involved in the conversation can access. A session includes the conversation history, which agent read as part of the context used to generate a response. The session also includes a session state dictionary that it can use to take greater control over the most important pieces of information you would like to highlight and how they are accessed. So we go back to the parent sub-agent agent py file. So paste this following here. Okay, so in this code, right, you notice the session is passed to your to function as a to context. All you need to do is assign a parameter to receive it. As you see here, the parameter name to context. You can use the to context to access the session information like conversation history through the to context events and the session state dictionary through the to context state, where when the to context state dictionary modified by user to function, those changes will be reflected in the session state after the to finished its execution. The docstring provides a clear description and session for arguments and return value. The command function code demonstrates how easy it is to make updates to the state dictionary. So we will want to add the to the attraction planner agent by adding the to parameter when the agent is created. So go to attraction planner and we add this here. So we also want to add the following bullet point to the attraction planner agent assisting instruction. Okay, that's it. Now we can go here and then type in the another command called ADK web. This time this will open a new web browser. Click on this. Now we will select the agent here, parent and sub agent. Okay, so the agent reply, and then this time I will say I want to go to Egypt. Okay, so it transfer to the agent. So you can see that it's transferring. When you click the icon here, it will show you which agent is talking. So that is the attraction planner. Now I will choose an abstraction, for example, like this. Then you should receive an acknowledgement in the response. Say okay. I have saved the spin to your list. Here are some other attraction. So when you click the response toolbox to view the event, right, notice that it includes an action which includes state delta describing the change to the state. Yeah, you can go to look at it from the event. There's a state delta here. So you should be prompted by the agent to select more attraction. Reply to the agent by naming one of the options it has presented. Say Luxor Temple, for example. So let's click the cross here to close to exit the focus on the event. Now in the sidebar you should see the list of events and a few tab options. So if you select the state tab, here you can view the current state. That's what I actually selected just now. So you can ask now what is in my list. So this is the reply. You should see that they return your list formatted as a bulleted list according to its instruction. So when you're finished experimenting with the agent, you can close the browser tab and then press Ctrl C to abort the command. Workflow agent. Parent to sub-agent transfer are ideal when you have multiple specialist sub-agents and you want the user to interact with each of them. However, if you would like the agent to add one after another without waiting for a turn from the user, you can use workflow agent. Some example scenario when you might use workflow agent include when you would like your agents to plan and execute, when you want to have one agent prepare a list of items and then have other agents use the list to perform follow-up tasks, for example writing sections of a document. Secondly, research and write, when you want to have one agent call function to collect contextual information from Google search or other data sources, then another agent use that information to produce some output. Third, draft and revise, when you want to have one agent prepare a draft of a document and then have other agents check the work and iterate on it. To accomplish this kind of task, workflow agent have sub-agent and guarantee each of their sub-agent agent development kit provide 3 built-in workflow agent and opportunity to define your own. First, sequential agent. Second, loop agent. Third is parallel agent. Now in the task 4, begin building a multi-agent system with a sequential agent. The sequential agent executes the sub-agent in a linear sequence. each sub-agent in the sub-agent list is run one after the other in the order they are defined. Here is a diagram, and this time we will use the workflow agent, the agent py file. So you read through this agent definition because the agent must be defined before they can be assigned to a parent. To read the file in the order of the conversation, you can read the agent from the bottom, just like before. As always, that is a root agent at the bottom, followed by Flame Concept Team, and then the researcher, screenwriter, file writer, and then yeah, that's it. You also have a function called append to state. This function allows the agent with the ability to add content to a dictionary value in a state. It is particularly useful for agent that might call a to multiple times or add in the multiple passes of a loop agent, so that each time they accept, their output is stored. Okay, so we are good now. We can run this. To open the ADK web, okay, click on the HTTP to open the new tab, and now we will choose the workflow agent. Okay, let's start the conversation. Hello. Okay, so the agent has responded. Say we will give them a movie name. You can see how what are the process that is going on now. So it's actually ask Wikipedia, asking Wikipedia to return the information. The agent should now call its agent one after the other as it executes the workflow and write the plot outline file to your multi-agent system movie pictures file. Yeah, which is, you see there's a folder created. And this is their reply. Say I will give another movie name and another movie name. Before that, let's wait for the next movie pictures to be created. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, so the last one, say if I click on one of the agents. Okay, so you can see the data flow. In addition to the graph view, you can also click on the request tab of the event to see information this agent received as part of its request, including the conversation history. You can also click on the response tab of the event to see what the agent returned. When you are finished inspecting the element, you can close the browser and then press Ctrl+C to exit the prompt or the program. While this system can produce interesting result, it is not intended to imply that the instruction can be so brief or adding example can be skipped. Now in the task file, we're going to add a loop agent for iterative work. The loop agent executes its sub-agents in a defined sequence and then start at the beginning of the sequence again without breaking for user input. You repeat the loop until a number of iterations has been reached or a call to exit the loop has been made by one of the sub-agents, usually by calling a built-in exit loop tool. This is beneficial for tasks that require continuous refinement, monitoring, or cyclical workflow. Examples include iterative refinement, continuous monitoring, debate, and negotiation. So below is a diagram you can see. So we will revise this agent flow like the root agent creator will remain the same. The flame concept team sequential agent will now consist of the writer room loop agent that will begin the sequence. Okay, so we will paste a new agent right here called critic agent. And then we will create a new loop agent called writer's room that create the iterative loop for the researcher. Screenwriter and critic each pass through the loop will end with a critical review of the work so far, which will prompt the improvement for the next round. So you will notice that the loop agent creation includes a parameter for maximum iteration that defines how many times the loop will run before it ends. Even if you plan to interrupt the loop via another method, it is a good idea to include a cap on the total number of iterations. And then we will use a tool to exit the loop, that is this line here called exit loop. Save the file, and we will add one more tools called exit loop, and then we will also add one more instructions right here. And we will replace the sub-agent with this tool. And now we will save it and then run the ADK web. Okay, open the URL and choose the workflow agent and start the conversation. Hello. When prompted to choose the kind of historical character, you can choose. Oh, there's an error. Researcher is not defined. Okay, I have solved the issue, so I just have to correct the sequence of the agent that I created, so it will be writers is above the flame concept and the researcher is above the writer's room, and then run the ADK, then it will work. Okay, so right now I will begin the conversation, and then when prompt to choose the historical figure, then I will select, give them some idea, this one for example. So once you have chosen a type of character, the agent should work its way through iterations of the loop and finally give the flame a title and write an outline to a file. Okay, so finish, then they will exit the loop and say I give another prompt, another historical character, and the last one. So using the culture editor, you can review the file generated, which should be saved inside the movie pictures folder. Say the map maker, meditation. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, now in the task 6, we will use a fan out and gather pattern for report generation with a parallel agent. This is just a plan of the parallel agents over here. So I will add another agent called the box office researcher right here at the top, and also the casting agent and the pre-production team. And then we will want to update the film concept team, the sub-agent, to include the pre-production team. And we will also update the file writer, instruction to this one. Save the file. Let me close this browser, exit the previous one, and run the ADK web again. Click this and start with the prompt hello. And then I give the historical figure. So when the agent has completed the writing and report generation, okay, see the words here, the loop agent and the parallel agent. Then you can see there's a not yet out. Okay. Yeah, it's exiting the loop now, so the return result looks like this. So when the predefined workflow agent of the sequential agents, loop agent, and parallel agents are insufficient for your need, custom agent provide the flexibility to implement new workflow logic. You can define patterns for flow control or conditional execution or state management between the sub-agent. This is useful for complex workflow, stateful orchestration, or integrating custom business logic into the framework orchestration layer. Right, but creations of this custom agent is out of the scope for this lab, but it's good to know that it exists and if you need it. And congratulations, we have finished the lab. You can exit the lab now.